Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a rich person and thought, what's so special about them? They don't look smarter than me. They don't work harder than me. So why do they have all the money while I'm stuck stressing about bills? If you've ever had that thought, let me tell you, you're not wrong. Most rich people aren't geniuses. They don't necessarily work the longest hours, and they're definitely not luckier than everyone else. The difference isn't their effort, it's their thinking. And here's where it gets interesting. The way rich people think isn't some secret only they can access. It's actually simple. But most people never learn it because we grow up around people who are stuck in a paycheck-to-paycheck mindset. So, naturally, we copy it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how rich people think differently, and once you start seeing money the way they do, you'll realize wealth isn't about being born into money. It's about training your brain to see opportunities that most people ignore. Now, I'll warn you this might feel uncomfortable at first, because rich thinking is almost the opposite of what most of us were taught. But if you can stick with me, you'll walk away seeing money in a whole new light. So let's get into it. Number 1, most people think money is something you trade time for. You go to work, you put in hours, and you get a paycheck. That's the script we were all given as kids. Study hard, get a job, work until retirement, hope there's something left over. But rich people don't think like that. They don't see money as something you trade hours for. They see money as a tool that works for them, even when they're not working. Imagine two people. One works 60 hours a week at a job. The other sets up a small business or invests in something that makes money while they sleep. Who's going to win? Obviously, the second person. And yet, most of us never even think that way, because we're too focused on how can I earn more hours of pay instead of how can I make money work without me. Here's the crazy part. If you talk to someone with a working class mindset and you mention investing or starting something on the side, you'll usually hear, that's too risky, or I don't have the money to do that, or that only works for rich people. But talk to someone rich, and they'll say the exact opposite. Not investing is risky. Not starting something new is risky. Staying dependent on one paycheck is the riskiest thing of all. See the difference? One side avoids risk because they're afraid to lose money. The other side avoids risk because they're afraid of being trapped forever. Let me give you an example you'll relate to. Think about the lottery. Poor and middle-class people are the biggest buyers of lottery tickets. Why? Because deep down, they're hoping for a lucky break. It's the dream of escaping money problems in one shot. But what do the rich do? They don't waste time hoping for luck. They create their own odds by investing in things that consistently pay them back. Number 2, most people see money as something to spend. You get paid, you pay your bills, and whatever's left, maybe you treat yourself. The rich, they see money as soldiers. Every dollar is a little worker that goes out and brings more dollars back. If you spend all your money, you've killed your soldiers. If you invest your money, you've multiplied your army. It's almost like playing a video game. Are you the player who spends all your gold the second you get it, or are you the one who saves it up and builds an empire? That little decision makes all the difference. And here's something no one talks about. The rich don't always start rich. In fact, a lot of self-made millionaires started with less than you probably have right now. The reason they ended up rich is because they trained their brain to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Employees say, how much will I get paid for my time? Owners say, how much will this system earn me, even when I'm not there? That's the key difference. And listen, I get it. Right now, you might be thinking, easy for you to say, but I can't just quit my job and start a business. And you're right, you don't have to. Thinking like the rich doesn't mean you instantly throw away everything and gamble on a dream. It means you slowly shift your perspective so you stop depending only on your paycheck and start building little streams of income that grow. That's thinking like the rich. It's not about starting with a fortune. It's about using what little you have to create more, instead of just spending it and staying stuck. Number 3, they ask better questions. Most people, when they get paid, ask, what can I buy? Rich people ask, what can I build with this? See how powerful that is? The same $500 could either be a new television or the seed money for something that pays you forever. And the craziest part? Once you shift your thinking, opportunities start popping up everywhere. You'll hear about a friend wanting to start something, and instead of saying, that's too risky, you'll start asking, how could I make this work? You'll see something people are wasting money on, and instead of joining them, you'll wonder, could I be the one selling this instead? When you start thinking like the rich, you stop seeing problems, and you start seeing possibilities. And let me tell you, this is exactly why people who seem dumber or lazier than you sometimes end up richer. It's not about brains or effort. It's because they're playing a different mental game. They're willing to think like owners, while everyone else stays trapped as workers. So if you've ever felt that frustration, like you're smarter than your boss, or you work harder than your neighbor, yet they're the ones with the nicer car or bigger house, it's probably because they made the mental switch that you haven't yet. And the good news? You can make that switch today. Alright, let's pause here. We've just scratched the surface of how the rich think differently. We've talked about how they see money as a tool, how they embrace the right kind of risk, how they multiply their dollars instead of killing them off, and how they focus on ownership over wages. But there's more, much more. Think about this for a second. Most people, when they get money, instantly think about spending it. It's automatic. Pay the bills, buy something nice, reward yourself for all that hard work. That's how the cycle keeps repeating. But rich thinking flips the script. When they get money, their first thought isn't, how do I spend this? It's, how do I multiply this? Here's a simple mindset exercise you can start using today. Every time you get money, whether it's your paycheck, a bonus, or even just a random $20 gift, pause before you spend it and ask yourself one question. If this money was an employee, where would I send it to bring me back more money? It sounds silly at first, but trust me, it changes everything. Because instead of blowing it on something that's gone in a week, you start planting little seeds. Imagine you had done this 5 years ago with even a small percentage of every paycheck. Where would you be now? Probably in a much stronger place. That's the power of rich thinking. It compounds. Number 4. Poor and middle class thinking is obsessed with price. Rich thinking is obsessed with value. That's why some people look at a $200 course or a $500 tool and say, that's too expensive, while a rich person sees the same thing and thinks, if this helps me earn $5,000 later, it's a bargain. Same situation, totally different lens. Now, I'm not saying never buy things you enjoy. You should. Life's meant to be lived. But what I am saying is this. If you start prioritizing value over price, you'll be shocked at how quickly your financial life changes. Here's something else most people don't notice. The rich don't just think about making money. They think about protecting it. Working class thinking often goes, as long as I make enough, I'm good. Rich thinking goes, how do I keep more of what I make? That's why they learn about taxes, assets, and smart ways to structure their money. Because what good is making $100 if you're losing $80 of it? And here's the wild part. You don't have to be rich to start protecting your money. You can start today by tracking your spending, cutting out silent drains, and moving even small amounts into accounts that grow instead of disappear. You might be shocked at how much you've been losing without even noticing. Number 5. Most people wait for permission. They wait for their boss to give them a raise, the government to make things easier, the economy to get better. Rich thinkers don't wait for permission, they create options. If their boss won't give them a raise, they find a side hustle. If the economy is down, they look for what's cheap to buy now that will be valuable later. While everyone else is complaining, they're moving. Think about it like this. When COVID hit, millions of people froze. They thought, everything's shut down, I'm doomed. But the ones who thought like the rich, they saw opportunities. Some started mask businesses, some moved into online tutoring, others jumped into delivery services. And while everyone else was waiting for the world to fix itself, these people were adapting and making money. So here's a mindset challenge for you. Next time something goes wrong, instead of saying, why me? Try asking, where's the opportunity here? Because trust me, there's always an opportunity. But you'll only see it if you train your brain to look. And let's get real for a moment. Thinking like the rich doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. Rich people feel fear all the time. They just don't let it control them. Most people let fear stop them. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if it doesn't work out? Rich people flip the question. What if I succeed? What if this changes everything? That's why so many people stay stuck forever. They let fear of losing stop them from even playing the game. Meanwhile, the rich know the only real failure is not trying. So here's something you can practice. Next time you feel fear around money, whether it's investing, starting a side hustle, or even negotiating your salary, pause and reframe the question. Instead of, what if this goes wrong? Ask, what if this goes right? That one mental shift can push you to take the steps that change your entire future. Finally, number 6. Rich people don't think in terms of today. They think in terms of decades. The average person wants fast results. How can I double my money in a month? Rich people are patient. They understand that wealth builds over time, like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but if you keep pushing, it grows bigger and bigger until it's unstoppable. Let me leave you with this. If you keep thinking like everyone else, you'll keep getting what everyone else has. Stress, bills, and a retirement that may never feel secure. But if you start thinking like the rich, even in small ways, you'll begin to separate yourself from the crowd. You'll stop chasing paychecks and start building wealth. You'll stop spending mindlessly and start investing intentionally. You'll stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path. And you don't have to wait until you're ready. You can start today. Start with a mindset exercise. Start with a small investment. Start by asking better questions about your money. Every little step rewires your brain, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize you've completely changed the way you see wealth. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, practice thinking like the rich. Every time you touch money, ask, how can this multiply? Every time you face a decision, ask, what's the value, not just the price? Every time fear shows up, ask, what if this goes right? Do this consistently, and I promise you'll never see money the same way again. Because here's the truth, money follows mindset. If you can change the way you think, the money will follow. And if this video gave you even one idea that hit you, do yourself a favor, don't just click away and forget it. Subscribe, then pick one thought, one exercise, and put it into action today. That's how you stop watching other people get rich and finally start moving toward your own financial freedom.